Go ahead.
Sexplosion is on Power 102 and now on new days and at new times. The country's most informative sex education program, Sexplosion, is on every Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. and Fridays from 9 p.m. to midnight with Dr. Raj, the guru of sex in the Caribbean.
A lot of times we think that sex is totally below the waist. It is not below the waist. It starts in the brain. The largest sex organ that you possess is your brain.
Tune in for discussion on all sexual matters. Sexplosion on Power 102. Empowering you.
Next verse. Well, thank you for staying here with us on Power 102 FM. And a very special good evening to you. Special thanks, as I mentioned, to Maggie, Richard, and Skippy. Well, taking your turn, it's now 7 minutes after 7 o'clock, and we do welcome you to Sexplosion with Sexologist Dr. Raj, and a very special good evening to you, my big brother. How are you today?
Pleasant good evening to you. Pleasant good evening to all the listeners, all the viewers, those of you on social media, those of you on our app. I think they're hearing us on the app or they're seeing us on the app.
Yeah, no, on the internet, on the net?
Yeah, on
yes,
the net.
They're seeing you.
Okay, they're seeing us, so wherever you are, I have no idea where the cameras are. So
right behind my back.
Oh, that one there. So why they want to see the back of your head?
No, well, they haven't, don't forget, we haven't really finalized everything.
Oh, okay,
yet,
okay, it's just they're temporary. Okay.
Temporary,
I just
yeah.
want to make sure that maybe they're looking to get your call tap or something.
No, people like to see me from the back.
They like to see when you're leaving. They like to see when you're leaving. That's why.
It was a game show, you win.
Yes, so a pleasant good evening to everyone. We're here with Sexplosion. Of course, this program is here to sexucate you, to give you all the information that you may need to become a better person, a better lover, to be a better individual when it comes to your sexual health, health in general, things about you that you may not have known before, things about your partner, and of course your relationship, and of course there are little bits of information that we give that you cannot get anywhere else, and if you have to get it anywhere else, you have to pay for it. You get it free on Power 102.
Yes, I mean, no, what more can you ask?
What more can you ask for? All you have to do is tune in to Power 102 and just ask your questions. You listen to what the persons out there are asking. You send your messages on, what's the number again? 8522? 8255? 8255. 222-8255 and 612-8255, or you can send it directly to me, 740-1961. That number again, 740-1961.
What you can do is send your messages on our website.
On our website directly. If you're on the app, if you are viewing the program or listening to the program, you can send things directly into the studio. Just don't send a picture of your genitalia to Junior because he might fall off his chair. And you know what will happen then? We'll hear a loud thud. We'll hear a loud thud in the studio, and then we're going to wonder, well, what the hell just happened there?
Then you'll want to know what is going on.
Yeah, Junior, I was supposed to ask you this a long time ago, and since Prashant is here, I should ask you this question. Have you ever had a prostate examination?
Yeah.
With the finger or?
Finger.
Oh,
yeah.
And how was it? I see you smile after I
No,
ask you
it
that.
was it was an experience because this happened last year.
Last year.
Yeah, last year.
Because of a situation that
So-
was developing, or you just decided to go
No,
and do
just
it?
decided to go.
And that's
Just
very
decided.
good because
And,
you're getting young in age.
yeah.
Or getting up in age.
No, but it was strange because the doctor was a female doctor, and she never gave me the intention that she was about to do that. So we
All
were
you heard
just,
is the girls go
she-
clatax.
So we were just interacting, laughing, and thing, and she said, "Lie down on that little thing there." I said, "What?"
Bring your knees up to your chest.
I said, "Lie down where?" So, but it was.
But if a woman tell you to lie down, you don't ask that
and
question.
it was a sexy looking.
Well, right, that's what I
doctor.
say. If a woman tell you to lie down
No,
on a
it
bed,
was
I would lie down. I
No.
wouldn't ask any question. I would say, what position you want
No,
me in?
no, it was a sexy looking doctor.
Well, yeah, I will ask what position you want me in. That's all.
So after she finished, I
You're
said
done?
to her, I said, "You finished already?"
I
She
could
said,
imagine so.
Yeah.
I could imagine so. And
It
you know,
was
her
a-
dainty
yeah.
fingers would
But I'll
not
tell you
cause you any
something.
pain.
I'll tell you something. I would advise every young or every person to do have.
That's why I brought it up. I think every individual, especially male over the age of 35, should have a prostate examination
That's
done
important.
digitally. They should have ultrasound done. They should have the blood works done and keep the record. I hope you kept the record.
I have the whole year.
Right,
I
and
did the
every
whole
2
week.
years you can do a test again until you reach the age about 50. Then you can do it yearly.
That's
It's
good.
very important for your health.
Yes, it is. It is.
You need to know what's happening with your prostate. You need to know if there's any situation that's developing, and you need to arrest it as soon as possible.
Yeah.
But we don't do those things. You see, we don't do preventative medicine in Trinidad. People in Trinidad, we look to see what we can do after the fact, not before what we can prevent.
No.
And a simple thing as preventing prostate cancer is having an examination. A simple thing as that. Now, some person will say, I don't want somebody to stick their finger up my rectum. I don't want to be digitally examined. Okay, fine. Start with the blood test. Start somewhere. Start with an ultrasound. It will cost you more money, but if you're uncomfortable with the digital examination, and if the doctor sees something that requires a digital examination, they would tell you need to have a digital examination done.
Oh, yes.
And then you can't tell them no, because anybody who has a situation where if you reach a situation after doing consultation and whatnot, and after getting a second or third opinion, someone tells you, well, I need to cut to remove this tumor or whatever. What are you going to tell them? No? You will have it done. So why not have a digital examination done, proper lubrication, relaxation, and the person does the examination, and within a couple of seconds they can tell you if you're healthy or not. So we need to look at that. We need to do that. So again, we have to do the preventative side of it. So that's why I tell persons, when you look at your sexual health is where you look at the prevention of things to come. For example, I deal with a lot of athletes and persons who are in the sporting arena. And I have seen some very low levels of hormones in sports, men and women. Well, not so much the women, but men. And their hormone levels there's an imbalance. And I tell them, I said, if you don't improve upon that, you're not going to improve as an athlete. So you need to improve on that, because your training requires you to do certain things. Now you might tell yourself, I play golf, so I don't need no rigorous training and whatnot, but you need to do some gym work. And if you don't have the energy to do the gym work, to strengthen your shoulders and your legs for all those long walking and those kind of things, even your lower back,
Yes.
hyperextension, because you are swinging a golf club, you have to do hyperextension. So you can't tell me I don't need to work out with weights because all I'm doing is a sport that does. Okay, for example, let's forget all the sports like that, and let's think about the sports of chess.
Uh-huh.
Sitting for a long period of time and concentrating requires you to have a sturdy back, a strong back. Otherwise, you're going to get back pain. And if you're playing a game under back pain, you're not going to feel good.
No, that's a lot.
Ask any guys who play in all fours. If they play in all fours and a wind pain stick them, or they get a pain in the shoulder, they can't concentrate as you should playing the game. So you can't tell me I am playing a sport, I am playing a game that doesn't require me to use my muscles. It only requires me to use my retentive memory and my short-term memory at the time, so I don't need to exercise. No, that's not true. You need to do the exercise. You need to keep fit. You need to have your hormone levels at the optimal for you to get the benefits of it. That's why when persons send me question, Dr. Raj, I want to develop my penis. Can you do that for me? My answer is always yes, but you have to go through the procedure. Everyone wants a shortcut. We live in a country, we live in a world that everything is a shortcut. You know, I must get things done instantaneously. We want instant coffee, we want instant tea, we want instant everything. We want instant food. We must take food in a bag, like you know, the MRE, meal ready to eat, that the soldiers use. Push it in a microwave. They don't even push it in a microwave. They just must open the bag and ice it and you heat it up in a pan or something.
Yes.
If you have a chance to light a fire, because when you're still in the jungle and you want you have time for that, eat it out of the bag.
Yeah.
Right. We want instant things. We want instant things. The same thing with our health. The same thing with anything that is sexual. A person wants to move from 0 to a stud, without anything in between, without all the experience, without knowing the workings of a relationship, the workings of a woman. When you're dealing with women, let me tell you something about dealing with women. When you're dealing with women, it's not an easy thing, you know. They're so blasted moody, it's unbelievable, you know. Today they want with 10 seconds after they're moody, they change into something else, you know. And that's the reality of it. Sometimes you just have to rock back and laugh in your mind. You can't laugh at them because, oh God, that is more trouble.
No,
because you might get a bill now, a couple something coming after you. So you just laugh in your mind. Okay, it's one of those days, she in a mood. But it's a fact. Now, if you don't have the experience of those things, you can't be a good lover. You have to know what makes a woman thick. You have to know what will cause a woman to react in a certain way. You must be able to do these things.
Oh, yeah.
Many a times we don't pay attention to that. If you don't pay attention to it, what will happen? You're not educating yourself. Again, education is not sitting down and reading a book. You know, a lot of people feel education is reading a book. There are lots of persons out there that like to use big words and all kind of things, and they say, I'm educated. You're bloody educated. Education is experience. But getting the experience and applying it to your life and applying it to the things that you want to do, that is where the challenge comes in. There are lots of persons, you know, in this new world that we live in, what we were accustomed to, going to school, writing an exam, competing with each other to see who come first. Well, I never care about coming first. As a matter of fact, I used to fight to come last. Honestly, I never cared to come first. The one time I came first in tests, it was like, okay, why is everybody getting on like that? And then the one time I did all A's in high school, it was like, all right. I promised myself I'll never do that again. Because it was no big deal to me, but you see, that was my personality, and it continues to be my personality because I didn't give a rat's tail about anything. I knew what I was focused on, and I was focused on from the time I entered high school. So whoever else wanted to think about anything else, that is their business. If you want to come first in tests and you want to get 3 A's and 5 A's and 10 A's, that is your business. If you want to write 10 subjects and get 10 passes, I remember I came back from university with a degree. Of course, a degree with a high GPA and whatnot, which to me doesn't say crap. Right? I came back with a degree, and my friend, who was the most brilliant student in our school, didn't start university yet. And he told me, he said, Raj, I should have really played the fool in school like you. I said, no, I was focused. I never used to play the fool. I was focused on what I wanted to do. He told me that because he was tutoring one of my sisters, and they had a little get together, and I went and I saw him. He didn't start UE yet, and I already had my first degree straight out of high school, because he went out to do A's and this and that, because you have passes. Oh God, you have to get scholarship, you have to do this. And where did you end up? You didn't have a first degree yet, and I done with that. I go on to my master's.
You run past the
but
already.
To me, it wasn't important. And I did it because of my mother, nobody else. My mother has my first degree, and I gave it to her. Because that's what she wanted. But I know what I wanted to do. But what I'm saying is that experience builds a better person. Experience. The guy who is sitting there using his brain, there are individuals out there who use their brain, man. They could solve problems. You hand them, and I love that about my daughter. Anything I buy home, my son don't mount it up, My daughter will mount it up. Shelving and thing, and give it to her. Come. Well, she used to do it with me. She grew up doing that with me. Come. Look, we have this to mount up. Daddy, where this going at? And tutus. screwdriver, this, that, and she get it, and sometimes she'll make a mistake. I say, no, well, this is, and she come back, and afterwards I say, you mount up and leave it to her to do it.
Anyway, folks, taking our time, it's now 20 minutes after 7 o'clock. You're listening to Sexplosion on Power 102.1 FM. Sexologist Dr. Raj Ramnanan. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back with you. Stay tuned.
And destructive anxieties of today tearing you apart? If there was ever a time to readjust your priorities and refocus your vision, it's now. Join Pastor Wayne Sanson on the Vision for devotional program every Monday from 5:30 to 6 a.m. right here on Power 102 FM. Jesus is the only one who can give you peace in the midst of today's storm.
Think Twice is hitting the streets, and we're talking road safety at taxi stands and commuter centers across Trinidad and Tobago. Look out for us this Monday in San Fernando, Wednesday in Chaguanas, and on Friday in San Juan. Yours truly, Gaylan, will be your guide. So let's talk road safety and giving you tips on driving safely on the nation's road. Plus, I'm asking road safety questions. And if you answer correctly, you win. Think twice.
Think twice.
On the road on Power 102.1 FM. Think twice.
Brought to you by the Vehicle Management Corporation of Trinidad and Tobago Limited. VEMCOT, Power 102 FM, in association with Arrival Live and the TTPS. The Galette Group of Companies, Neil and Massey North Credit Union, Kendall Motor Oil, and Computers and Controls.
Think twice.
Think twice.
Safety for you and your family at a safer Trinidad and Tobago.
Power 102 FM,
Boom Champions 94
and VEMCOT
present Think Twice.
Think Twice.
We celebrate life and promote safety on the nation's roads.
Think twice on the roads, in your cars, for our pedestrians and cyclists.
Think twice before you drive, act, and go about your daily lives.
Every life is precious, and we must each do our part to preserve lives on the roads of Trinidad and Tobago.
Think twice.
Every day, we give you life-saving tips and advice on how you can safely use our roads and highways in Trinidad and Tobago. We also invite you to download this safety app, which you can use to share messages and information in your very own private networks between family and friends and co-workers, all to keep each other safer.
Think twice.
Brought to you by the Vehicle Management Corporation of Trinidad and Tobago Limited, VEMCOT, in association with Arrival Live and the TTPS, Neil and Massey North Credit Union, the Galette Group of Companies, Agricola Credit Union, and Computers and Controls.
Think twice.
Think twice.
Safety for you and your family
Think twice.
at a safer Trinidad and Tobago.
Sexplosion is on Power 102, and now on new days and at new times. The country's most informative sex education program, Sexplosion, is on every Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. and Fridays from 9 p.m. to midnight with Dr. Raj Ramnanan, the guru of sex in the Caribbean.
A lot of times we think that sex is totally below the waist. It is not below the waist. It starts in the brain. Your largest sex organ that you possess is your brain.
Tune in for discussion on all sexual matters. Sexplosion on Power 102, empowering you.
Well, we do welcome you back to Sexplosion, right here on Power 102.1 FM. Sexologist Dr. Raj Ramnanan of Total Image and the Adult Therapy Center, which is located in St. Augustine. Now, here's where we give you the opportunity to interact with Dr. Raj. Simple. All you've got to do is to give him a call. He's live here in studio with us, 222-8255, also at 612-8255. Now, for those of you who would love to send him a WhatsApp or a text message, you can also do that on his private mobile, 740-1961. You can also send in your messages on our website at Power 102 FM. You're listening to a program that deals with sex, love, and relationship on your number one all-around station when it comes to talk and music, Power 102 FM. Yeah.
I see our good friend Wayne McDaniel is listening. A belated happy birthday.
Yes. Today's his birthday, yeah.
Today or yesterday? I think he has the same birthday as my daughter-in-law.
No, yeah, yesterday.
Yeah, they celebrated their birthday around the same time. So belated happy birthday. He said that I recently had a prostate examination done. My male doctor had a thick finger, but all is okay.
Okay.
I think he enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, it all depends. Well,
Wayne. What can I say about Wayne?
Yeah.
Who is this? Brislov Guerra. Okay, I don't know who that is, but good night to you. You're on. I see my nephew's on. Leslie Ann is also on. Renuka is on. She's in Canada. Who else? Obim is on. Raj is on. Raj is listening to Raj.
Mm-hmm.
I see my cousin Bisoon is on. Kerry is on. We have a nice little... Asif here is on. Christy, Permal, Yolanda, Bharat. Who else? I'm looking for a name, but I'm not seeing it. I know you're going to tell me you know who it is, but you don't know who it is. Shakuntala is on. Indra is on. Ria is on. Good evening to you all. Nigel Maharaj. They're all on. Yes, so I was talking about experience, and I'm talking about the things that you do in life. Now, we deal with sex. We deal with sexual issues.
Uh-huh.
If you haven't experienced something sexually, you'll have all kind of fantasies about doing it. And this is where a lot of persons fail in their ability to do things. For example, you're watching a movie, television show, and you see a particular scenario. I was surprised to be watching, I think it was SWAT, recently. And in one of the episodes in SWAT, one of the girls was invited to be a third party in a threesome, but as a steady lover of both the male and the female, because she's bisexual. And I was like, look where television reached. Look where television reached. No, I don't usually look at SWAT. But that evening I had nothing to do.
So I was about to ask you that.
No, I don't usually look at that program. Not because of anything other than it never piqued my interest. It just so happened that I was lying in bed. I think I was on the computer and it came on. And why I looked at it is because it had some serious banditry in it, with these women holding up jewelry stores, and they were really good at it. So I said, let me look at it because it caught my interest. But a side story in the show was about this girl who was invited to be a third party in a open relationship with a male and a female, being the lover of the female and both the lover of the female and the male. And this was the first time the male and the female had something like that. Now, persons see that, they say, boy, I would like that boy. Oh, the fact that two women, look how pretty that woman is, oh God. But in reality, and you get that in life, can you manage it? You know how difficult that is to manage? That is one, I'm telling you from experience. I am telling you from what I read. I am telling you from experience, it is not easy to manage. It is not easy to do. It is not an easy task. You have to be able to have a mind that is so solid, a mind that is so strong, that it's unbelievable. I'm talking about all three parties, not one. Because and worse yet if it is a guy and two women, because you're dealing with two women who are going to be at you with their emotions.
Okay, yeah.
Dealing with women and their emotions is not an easy thing. So if you don't have the experience and you say, oh God, I'm looking nice. I mean, the girl who is the bisexual SWAT member, she's nice. And the other woman was really hot. So it was like, yes, I would like to have two women like that. But that's not the reality. You wouldn't get that in real. Unless you're real lucky like you.
No, your luck, luck have to really be on your side.
So, but it's not luck. It's not luck. You see,
It's not luck.
It is not luck. It is not a lucky thing to get that, It's a blessing.
Okay.
It's a blessing to want something like that and get it. But you know what is the challenge there?
What is the challenge?
The challenge is if you are able to manage that and keep it. Because there will come a time that you would have mixed feelings. You would have situations that you can't handle easily. You might have jealousy creeping in, a little bit of envy, a little bit of competition. You have to know how to handle all those things. It is not an easy street. It is not. But I'm just using that as one example. Another example that most men would think about is a threesome, not a relationship, a threesome. But there are guys who, when placed in a situation of a threesome, feel it's about them. It's never about you.
No?
No. The guy, it's never about the guy. The woman will put the guy aside and they will do their thing.
So, in other
So
words,
if you can't handle that, don't get into it.
So, in other words, what you have to do as the male is sit back and meet the winner.
No, you sit back and observe until you're invited to participate.
But some
Invitation doesn't come like, hey, you can come and participate. No, invitation comes where they will include you in some way or the other or ask you to do something. Again, if you don't have the experience of it, you can't do it. Because you'll be sitting there and say, but that's my woman, what's wrong with you, boy? I have to get a piece of that. But you're thinking along the lines of a man tackling a woman or to get something sexual as opposed to the reality of what's happening. The reality of what's happening is based on what they're feeling at the moment. And you may not be part of what they're feeling at the moment. Therefore, you'll be left out. And if you are left out, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Well, in a position like that, I guess you'll just have to sit back and wait your turn.
But who is prepared to do that? The person who is inexperienced will say, no, it's about me. I want to get involved in that. The woman will be saying, no, it's not about you. It's about us.
No, but especially if, as you say, it's a threesome. And if it's your girlfriend and she's participating with the other one, you will want to know, well, when I'll be...
Exactly, because it is your fantasy.
Well,
It is your fantasy, but the reality of your fantasy is not necessarily what you're going to get. And this is what we're faced with. I have had persons tell me, male and female, tell me, I will never do this. Oh boy, if I get a chance to do that, they're dead. And when they do get the chance, they fail. And I have seen persons who say, I will never do this, get the chance to do it, and they have done it. And they have done more than what they say they'll never do. I have seen that. This is practical things I'm telling you about. This is from a sexologist point of view. This is somebody who's practically involved in all these things that is going to tell you that despite the fact that someone tells you that I am mentally prepared for it because I've seen it in a movie, I've read it in a book, my friend tell me about it, I have the experience. That is not experience. Experience is actually doing it. And I've seen many an individual fail because their expectation is about them. It's never about the other person. But true lovemaking and true understanding of a person is when you make it about the person and not about yourself. And this is where a lot of persons fail when they want to enter into other types of relationship. They fail at that. They fail because they're thinking it is about them, but you might just be the vessel by which it happens. It might be your idea. I know someone who was blocking a fantasy for many years, blocking it, and found themselves in a situation after many tries, but not getting into the fantasy. The person exploded into the fantasy and became another person. Exploded into that fantasy world.
Yes.
By choice, not by any prompting or anything. And this was the beautiful part of it. It was not about any prompting, about anybody telling you, well, I want you to do so and so, I would like you to dress in a particular way, I would like you to say something. No prompting. The person came up with it out of the blues and said it. Think about so. Oh, pretend I am so. Whatever the fantasy was, the person got into it without being prompted to do it, and it exploded.
Lucky guy.
I think so.
Very, very lucky.
The man was singing praises. I think he almost passed every church and entered. Every church, temple, and mosque that was open. The man wanted to enter and give praise. That's what he said. Because when you are faced with that, imagine you have something within yourself, your heart, your being, your sexual being, that will really drive you to do certain things or to be in a particular way. Something that you crave. Something that will excite you beyond your own imagination. With this particular person, somebody who is beautiful, sexy, looking in a particular way, somebody who rocks your world, and you suddenly get that from that person, without you prompting or asking for it, you know you're going to feel.
On top of the world.
Yeah, you're going to be walking on clouds.
Yeah,
you're not going to come down from that cloud for a very long time, because you know why? Your needs are being satisfied in a way that you did not even dream about. Because here you are before, prompting and pushing and hoping that it changes. It never did change. And suddenly the person hits you, boom, take this. Take that in you. Let me see if we can handle it.
Take you to another level.
It does. That is the correct word. Because you start sex at this level. And all of a sudden you're growing this way. That's why I tell persons, when you have sex in your brain, it's different from having physical sex. You know. Physical sex, any two fools could do that. Any two idiots could get together and have sex. Because we are programmed to have sex. And anybody who denies that, well, they don't realize what is creation. They don't realize anything about human nature. We are programmed to have sex. You put a penis in a vagina and the buttocks is going to move. The waist is going to move. That is automatic with us. You need no coaching for that.
No, that's a no. That's a no.
You put a woman in front of you while you are horny. You think you have to think about what to do? You know exactly where to go and what to do, despite the fact that you may have never seen a movie, never heard of sex, or knows nothing about sex.
As a matter of fact, if she appears in front of you, you putting your steps in order, what I'll do first, what I'll do second, what I'll do third, and
you are going to go after it and go after it in the strongest possible way. Strongest possible way. Because you know that is programmed in your DNA. We are programmed to recreate ourselves. You know that's why when people put down sex and they talk about sex in a negative way and whatnot, I look at them and they don't realize what is creation. That's why when we talk about Shivism and Lord Shiva, Lord Shiva is creation, is sex. Tantra comes from him. In that whole thing, if you want to talk about who invented sex, is Lord Shiva. So a true Hindu, a true Sanatanist will know that. They know that's where it comes from. That's why you have the symbol of the Shivlingam. So, the two things that creates in this world is God and sex. So, sex had to be godly. Sex had to be holy. It cannot be anything else. Of course, you'll talk about the base animalistic nature of ourselves, where we want to have sex and we want to do all the crazy things. I want other people to tell you you're animal, you're nasty, you're perverted, you're kinky. But if you are a human being, how you feel we were able to send a man on the moon? Because we were thinking in a box? How you think we did discover the West Indies? Because somebody was thinking in a box? Well, rediscovered, not discovered. How you think they brought spaghetti to Italy? Because somebody was thinking in a box? No, a man decided to walk over the mountain and walk and get to China and bring back something from China, and he brought back spaghetti, which was noodles. Noodles is spaghetti.
Oh, yeah, well, yes.
That's what it is.
Yes, it is spaghetti.
Marco Polo went there and brought it back. Silk. The Silk Road, that's how it came. But if we were continuing to think in a box, we'd have be Carib and Arawaks running about it that killing one another. Because nobody will go anywhere. Nobody will do anything.
No,
so you want to tell me you're going to limit my brain when it comes to sex? You have to be joking. Anytime you limit in your brain when it comes to sex, you have to be a boring individual. Anytime you limit in your brain when it comes to sex, you have to be someone who has no imagination. Because if you think sex is a missionary position where you climb upon a woman or a man climb upon you, put his penis in your vagina, or you put your penis in a vagina, and you whine and that is sex. That is not sex, you know. That's what we are programmed to do.
But this is what
that is automatic. That is not sex. No, that is not sex. That is not sex. There's a word for it, but I want to use it.
Okay. Not radio friendly, right?
No, it is radio friendly, but that is what it is.
Yeah, because a lot of people think, a lot of people think that.
But think about this. We have the ability to expand our horizon within our brain. We don't have to step out of Trinidad. We don't have to step out of our bedroom to think about some fantastic movie star or some beautiful, handsome man. Or you don't have to do that. You're reading in a book. Long ago, girls used to read this thing called Mills and Boons.
Oh, yes.
You remember that?
Of course, yes.
And in Mills and Boons always have a knight on a shiny white horse, riding to save the woman.
Always.
That's what women used to think, you know, that the man of their dreams will be a knight in shining armor, you know.
Yes, but then again, when you're thinking in terms of you're going back, that is how we was programmed.
We programmed that way. This is our programming.
Because even in the movies that they had.
Well, right, because yes, that is what we are programmed. We're programmed to look at sex in this particular way. We're programmed to think that white is better than black. We are programmed this way. We are programmed that way, you know. We always think that if something is black, is bad. Which is total crap. That's why in Hinduism, And from that is why from what I come from, we have gods that are black, jet black until they're blue, Yes. Lord Krishna is represented in black because he came in the midnight. Lord Rama came in the middle of the day. We have male and female gods. So it shows you equality. So when you grow up with that in your background, you realize that all this crap that people tell you about, that you have to put a person who's of a Caucasian look above everything else is like, right, your crap. That's not what it is.
Anyway, folks, taking our time, it's now 20 minutes before 8 o'clock, and I can definitely tell you that nobody does better what we do best when it comes to sex education, exclusively on Power 102 FM.
Easter Sunday, April 21st. Savannah, Port of Spain. The most anticipated concert in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. The legend Mark Anthony Miley.
Take it off.
What do you call it?
Distract, know that?
Oh, I thought it was
Open at 3 p.m. Showtime 6 p.m. Along with childhood friend Wayne Wonder. Also featuring Luciano from Messenger CD Melody, Chris and the group Lust.
Yeah. I mean, take it already.
I thought so. I knew it wouldn't miss Buju, right?
LegendConcert.com. Cachet Nationwide. On Center Excellent Mall and opposite Citygate. Icebox Liquor Depot Cura. The box office Queens Park Savannah. Larry Shaguana and Cachet Tobago. For more info, call 610-BOOJ and 484-BOOJ. Sponsored by Rare M Sound Company, SM Jalil and Company Limited, Southern Sales Car Rentals, the OCM Group of Companies, Camco Innovations and Print TT. I am Legend Free at last.
Power 102 FM
Boom Champions 94
and Vemcott
present Think Twice.
Think Twice.
We celebrate life and promote safety on the nation's roads.
Think twice on the roads, in your cars, for our pedestrians and cyclists.
Think twice before you drive, act, and go about your daily lives.
Every life is precious, and we must each do our part to preserve lives on the roads of Trinidad and Tobago.
Think twice.
The environment charter, you could look at the question and they had
our roads and highways in Trinidad and Tobago. We also invite you to download the safety app, which you can use to share messages and information on your very own private networks between family and friends and co-workers, all to keep each other safer.
Think twice.
Brought to you by the Vehicle Management Corporation of Trinidad and Tobago Limited, Vemcott, in association with Arrival Live and the TTPS, Neil and Massey North Credit Union, the Galette Group of Companies, Agricola Credit Union.
Shall be doing that all the time, but when I open it up just now, it will take about 20 minutes and then it will come on with the questions.
Think twice.
And it's safe for Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, charging already.
I want to continue that nobody does better what we do best when it comes to sex education, exclusively on Power 102.1 FM, with the only sexologist in the Caribbean, Dr. Raj of Total Imaging, the Adult Therapy Center, where he treats all sexual dysfunctions in both male and female. May I remind you that this program may contain material that is not suitable for children. Parental guidance are therefore advised. You are listening to Power 102 FM, accurate, reliable, and powerful.
Someone says, true, because I could have multiple orgasms at will without doing anything, and that is a fact. Once you are tuned to your body and tuned to yourself, you can do it. Hi, Dr. Raj, I need some advice, please. I took a home pregnancy test and it turned out positive. I went to my GP for confirmation and advice. All he did was an ultrasound, told me I was 4 weeks and to take folic acid. No idea when I should go to the doctor next or what I should or shouldn't do. I'm 30 and first time pregnant. I feel dizzy and weak throughout the entire day. Some guidance, please. Thanks. Don't go back to that doctor. Find an OBGYN and go to the OBGYN ASAP. Get someone who could really take care of you, because that a doctor is supposed to advise you. A doctor is supposed to give you good quality advice. You're paying money for that. And if you go to a doctor and a doctor simply do an ultrasound and say you're 4 weeks pregnant and take folic acid and they don't advise you beyond that, something is wrong. If they don't tell you to come back for a follow-up examination or to monitor yourself, and if this is happening, let me know, give me a call. That's why I give out my number, My patients have my number. They can call me at any time. They could send me a message at any time, I mean, I may not get to it immediately, but as soon as I get to the information, especially if it's one of my clients or patients, I make sure I get back to them because it is important. And not only my patient, but even my listeners, I have respect for my listeners that when they send me something, I will respond to them. If I don't respond to them immediately, I will at some point in time.
Yes, but that would show some sort of...
But what I'm
interest in
saying is that some doctors will not do that. And I could understand why also, but I don't believe in that. I believe in this day and age, technology is number one. Technology is number one. Use it. If you don't use technology, you're going to be left behind. That's why Prashant is very important to me because he keeps me abreast with technology. Thank God for that. Because I believe technology is really, really something that you have to be able to do.
That's how
So
the world is running.
I will tell this person to find an OBGYN. I don't know where you're living, but go around, look. Go to the clinics that you may have around the area, the hospitals, the private hospitals and whatnot, and find out OBGYN. If you cannot afford it, look for someone in your area or go back to your doctor and ask them to recommend you to a OBGYN. And go to that person, let that person guide you through your pregnancy. At 30 years of age, you're young, it's your first pregnancy, you don't have the experience of it. Maybe you don't have the guidance of the more mature folks or your grandparents or your parents. So you need that. And in this day and age, you need those things. I don't use Dr. Google. Dr. Google is not the right thing to use. But some people resort to that because they have nothing else to do. They don't know who else to go to.
Yeah.
But get the proper advice from somebody who knows and make sure you take care of yourself. Okay, so if you're trying to find me on Facebook and you can't, well, I can't help you there because I know I'm live on Facebook. I'm sure about that. And if you see me on Instagram only, well, I can't help you there either because I am live. Unless Prashant has done something to sabotage me and I'm not on anything.
I don't think he would do something like that.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think. He's a
That you would know.
Well, exactly. Not that I will know, but I'm suspicious now. I am very, very suspicious and suspect. Let's see. I'm trying to get something here.
I was just waiting for my turn to come in. That's all.
I see. Hello, I did that because I was just scared to go to the doctor. Scared about what? Having orgasm? Don't be scared about orgasm. I don't know if you're the person who sent the message. Are you the person who sent the message? Because the person sent me a message on WhatsApp and this person is speaking to me on Instagram. Just now we'll have those who are speaking to me elsewhere. Otherwise, the question, we just need about 2 more minutes. We'll get in there. So where are we?
Well, you were mentioning as well to the various relationships. You also spoke about a very important issue, which is prostate. Prostate cancer is actually the leading form of cancer in Trinidad and Tobago.
I know that.
Very, very.
And that's why I bring it up, because I've had many patients who came to me who were accustomed to going to their GP. And after I did what I have to do, I said, well, wait a minute. I need you to go to your GP. But I go to my GP, I said, well, I need you to go to another GP with this because you have a serious problem. I have had individuals who have saved from prostate cancer. That's why I tell you I'm very proud of myself when it comes to these things. You know why? I know there are lots of individuals out there who are living because of me. I know there are lots of women who have had children because of me. I know a lot of guys out there who are lasting longer in sex because of me. I enjoy being me. I enjoy that.
And no one could change that.
And no one could change that. I'm the only sexologist and I'm proud of that fact. So I take care of my clients. I make sure of that. I know there are lots of guys out there who wanted to do penis enhancement and enlargement and whatnot, and I help them with that also. I know women who have had the experience of having an orgasm, and I've helped them with that also. So, Christy, I didn't realize you were the same person, so because I have a different name here for you. So, and that's another thing. When people give me false name, it gets me so angry because people are so ashamed of themselves. They give false names.
Come on, guys. Yeah.
You know, I've never been ashamed of my name and who I am.
No.
I openly give my name and anybody asks, Giri Raj Ramnana or Dr Raj.
Yeah, but I don't see the reason why.
No, well, people are like that, but I don't know why people are so skeptical about giving their name. I mean, we don't have to call out your name one thing, but...
No, well, I can see with a program like this, they would because...
Yeah,
they
no, but
figure out
the problem I have is when people contact me for information and give me false name.
Well, that's-
Because
yeah, that's
eventually
a
the real
different
name does come up, Because I seen her real name here, but that's not the name she gives me here. And those things get me pissed off. Do you believe that Lord Shiva would agree with it? This is, what about gay sex? Well, you need to read the Shiv Puran, my friend, and then you will know. That will answer your question. And my short answer is yes. You see, there are persons out there who have never seen these temples with all these carvings, with all the different sexual position and sexuality in different ways and forms, you know.
Okay, we have a caller on the line.
Oh, we do?
Yep.
How am I hearing them?
Hello.
Because, you know, I don't have any head. Good evening. Good evening. You cut me off?
No.
Problem is, when I go to masturbate, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm getting an erection. When I go to having that with a woman, I'm not getting an erection.
Well, that's very simple. It means to say you have erectile dysfunction. You could stimulate yourself, but when you get in the sexual situation, you're unable to do so. That might be an indication of your hormone levels. How old are you?
40.
40?
Yeah.
Well, I keep repeating to people out there, once you've reached the age of 35, you need to check your sexual health.
Well,
If you don't check your sexual health, you'll wait for it to fail. And that is what is happening now.
well, I'm not for a woman, so but.
Wait, stop right here. Stop. Mash breaks. Why do people believe that if you're taking care of your sexual health, it's because you're running on woman? Why do people believe that? Your sexual health is your indicator of all the other things that are going wrong in your body.
Okay, I'll be radio. I'll listen to you on the radio.
I don't know why people think that anytime you're taking care of your sexual health is because you're running on a set of woman. It is not so. Your sexual health is an indicator of your overall health. Don't believe that your sexual health is because you're a man taking care of your sexual health because you want to have plenty woman. No. You're taking care of your sexual health because it's an indicator of you and who you are.
Wrong with having bloody woman?
No, well, morally, let me don't go down that road. Let me deal with what the fears of people are out there. They believe that if I go and take care of my sexual health, it's because I have plenty woman. No, it's not that. I am taking care of my sexual health because it is important to me to be sexually healthy because it's an indicator of my overall health.
Definitely.
What he has mentioned here, you getting an erection for masturbation, but you can't get an erection for intercourse. It means to say you're a failure. Who wants to be a failure? Who wants to be a failure? But yet still you say, well, I wouldn't want to say about my sexual health because I want to run down plenty woman.
Which don't make
Well,
any sense.
but even if you're taking care of your sexual health, feel plenty woman go want you?
Well, exactly.
Face reality.
That's a valid point.
How they know you're taking care of sexual? A woman does never ask a man. Anytime anybody send a message for you on any social media and ask you what is the size of your penis, that's a gay man. A woman has never asked you the size of your penis. Never.
That's a scam artist right there.
Yeah.
Yes, I can.
A woman wants to go to bed with you because she's in love with you and she feels for you and she have emotions for you.
Yeah.
She feels something for you. So she will want to have sex with you. It's not about the size of your penis and it's not whether you could perform or whatnot. When you go to perform and you fail, it's because you know you're a failure and now you fail.
Yes.
So you're not running down any woman? That is not running down a woman? So this idea that we have that if we take care of our sexual health is because we want to run down a set of woman. Women just think that way. Oh, you're going by Dr. Raj, sex doctor, because you have a set of woman out there. No, I want to be able to satisfy you. You're my woman. I want to make sure that I'm not going through andropause. I want to make sure my hormone levels are balanced. Because imbalance in your hormones will affect your liver, your kidney, your heart, and your brain, People don't realize that,
Yep.
An imbalance in your hormone levels will affect all the organs in your body that is essential for life, Because it needs those hormones. That's why the body, if you have a certain level of testosterone in your body, the body takes that testosterone and sends it to the organs in your body that you need for life, and forget your penis, That's why a lot of men just fail,
Redistribution.
Redistribution.
Yep.
Anyway, folks, taking our time, it's now 8 minutes before 8 o'clock. You are making radio an experience by itself when you're listening to Sexplosion on Power 102.1 FM. Nobody does better what we do best when it comes to sex education. We'll take a break and would be right back with you. Stay tuned.
Was that busy or? I know easy comes
Power 102 FM
Boom Champions 94
and Vempot
present Think Twice.
Think Twice.
We celebrate life and promote safety on the nation's roads.
Think twice on the roads, in your cars, for our pedestrians and cyclists.
Think twice before you drive, act, and go about your daily lives.
Every life is precious, and we must each do our part to preserve lives on the roads of Trinidad and Tobago.
Think twice.
Every day, we give you life-saving tips and advice on how you can safely use our roads and highways in Trinidad and Tobago. We also invite you to download the Safety app, which you can use to share messages and information in your very own private networks between family and friends and co-workers, all to keep each other safer. Think twice. Brought to you by the Vehicle Management Corporation of Trinidad and Tobago Limited.
Hey, you make a mistake with the one I came is Maturita.
Maturita, yes, I know, yeah.
I hear you last night. That's my partner saying the wrong thing.
Yeah,
Agricultural Credit Union and computers and controls.
Sophie Lado listen to you now. His mother say you know.
Safety for you and your family.
Think twice.
And a safer
Your
Trinidad
partner.
and Tobago.
No,
Struggling.
that was the night before.
Night before. Yeah, he's struggling to say Maturita. Say, yeah.
Venezuela
Night before.
continues to grapple with socio-economic and political challenges. marked
Run it
by
up and down and see you again, yeah.
climbing hunger, disease.
I don't know if you'll get some of the older ones because that may have.
Many have fled the horrific conditions and alleged
Maybe you-
persecution and have risked their lives to come to Trinidad.
Yeah, because it will be
How
difficult,
to
yeah.
manage the migration and navigate this humanitarian crisis. What are the solutions to this situation? Our 102 presents Diplomatic Relations, Trinidad and Tobago and Venezuela in focus.
Yeah.
Trinidad and Tobago has maintained a non-interventionist and non-interference stance, and as a nation, we are divided on the issue, with extreme positions on the matter. How should we react to this humanitarian crisis? Who should we recognize as the political leadership? How is government handling the influx of refugees to this country? And what are the effects upon TNT society and the economy? Join us all day this Wednesday for In Focus, Diplomatic Relations, Trinidad and Tobago and Venezuela in Focus.
Want to continue? It's the league that we never knew we needed. The Sunshine Snacks Ballpark Community League every Monday from 6 p.m. at the ML Ballpark Stadium, Makoya. Come out and see Beatniks SC, Pacemakers, MIC Tigers, Unveil MC, Love in the House, Vampers FC, Maturita, FC, SME, Battle for Greatness. It's the ML Ballpark Stadium, Makoya. Spectators are absolutely free. The Sunshine Snacks Ballpark Community League, which is on every Monday at the ML Ballpark, Makoya. You've got to be there. Well, that brings us to 5 minutes before 8 o'clock. I can tell you, you are making radio an experience when it comes to sex education, exclusively on Power 102.1 FM. The only sexologist in the Caribbean, Dr. Raj of Total Image, and the Adult Therapy Center located in St. Augustine. And folks, he treats all sexual dysfunctions in both male and female. Now, for those of you who would love to interact with him via the telephone, feel free. Our lines are open. 222-8255, also at 612-8255. Now, we know some of you are a bit shy to hear your voice on air, and I might as well remind you that we will not call your names. That's providing that you don't want your name called on air. And you can send him your text messages and your WhatsApp messages on his private mobile 740-1961. You're listening to your number one all-around station when it comes to talk and music, Power 102 FM, a program that deals with sex, love, and relationship exclusively on Power 102 FM.
Pleasant good evening to my darling Petra,
Petra's on.
to Anissa. Anissa is in Rio Claro. So, what else we have? Yeah. So it was brought to my attention that next week is SCA.
Next week.
I think so. And you know, when children are going to do their SCA examinations or any examination, the parents are under stress.
More than stress.
And you know, in Trinidad and Tobago, we waste a lot of time on the highways and byways in traffic, which is also stressful. You think a human being who is under all those kind of stress could perform well sexually in the bedroom? And the answer is no. You think it doesn't deplete your testosterone? It does.
So
because what it's going to do, it is going to cause you to have a depletion of your testosterone. It's going to cause you to get angry. It is going to cause you to not be loving. It is going to cause you to react negatively to things, even to your partner, your wife or your husband, and you're not going to perform.
So, in other words, what you are saying is that next week, sex will kind of drop.
Of course it will. Of course. There are women who will go and sleep with their children before the day of the exam. They're sleeping with their husband. There are women who, their parents will be so nervous they can't do anything. They'll be chewing at their nails. This thing is real stress, you know.
So
this thing is real stress. That's why the gentleman was wrong to say, I running on as a woman, I don't need to take care of my sexual health. You need your sexual health to deal with the stress.
But let me ask you, so it is fair to say that the parents go through more stress than the children?
But the parents just put the children under stress. First thing, you're writing an exam, son. I hope you pass for QRC, you know. I hope you pass for some big school, you know. That is stress you're putting the child under. I remember when my teacher, my favorite teacher of all time, told me to choose QRC and CIC. I tell him, I said, no, sir. Northeastern right over the road from me. Why choose a school for? He said, well, you'll pass for the. I said, I don't care. In my mind, I didn't tell him that. In my mind, I don't care. So when I went home, you know, you had to carry it home long time, and they'll put down the school, 4 schools, you had to put 3 5-year school and 1 junior sec. I told my parents what to put. Nobody dropped me to go and write exam. I walked from our home to where we had to write the thing. After exam, I walked back. No parents there to pressure you and say, boy, you have to do. No.
But I think personally,
I think I had the best father in the world. I have the best father in the world.
With Pops?
Yeah.
And
I
Pops
think
is a
so.
teacher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I have the best father in the world. But you have to go and write exam. Okay, cool. Wish you all the best. Talk done.
Yeah, but I think, what you're saying is correct. What I think is that a lot of people look for the colleges, and we have three, but in Port of Spain, you have 3 outstanding ones. And, you know, when you get into these colleges, you are expected to
have
higher standard.
But in my mind, my aunt went to Northeastern College. I will write for Northeastern College. I want to go to Northeastern College. It's right next to my home. I could roll off my bed and roll into school. That's why I want to go to school. And better yet, it's girls and boys. I ain't going to no all boys school.
No, but
I ain't doing that. No.
Well, I know
that wasn't me. That might be other people, but that's not me.
I know that was no.
No, you couldn't get me to do that. You're crazy, or none of my choices was that. I am not going to do that. I knew myself.
I totally agree as well too, because I went to an all-boys school, and I could tell you, good God, every day that's all you think about.
Sex.
Every single day.
Yeah.
Well, in my
in your days in her school, this is still the chiseling off the wall.
No. In my days, they didn't have mix. But if they had mix, I mean, I would have made my name. But we didn't have boys and girls mix like how they have today in schools.
But you used to go over from one wall to the other wall. Julia, don't give me that.
Like
Julia used to cross the wall because the girls' school was next to the boys' school.
Right.
I know that. I've heard the stories.
Yes.
I know people have come and reported you.
Wow,
even in your old age.
No.
Even in your old age.
No, from Rosary to St. Rose's was just a corridor. So it was good. But he never told you.
I'll tell you something. I don't discount education, because I think education is very important. I think education is the key to success, but I don't believe in the education system that we have.
You don't?
No. I believe that we are geared towards just passing exams and nothing else. That's why when I went into the American system, I realized how much I was missing when I was in high school. And how much I learned, how much more I learned. When I went to university in the United States, you were exposed to so much more. And that's when I realized that we were not doing the right things. And nobody looks at it, and nobody's going to change it, because if we are creating people for the future, we have to change it. But we are not doing it.
We're not doing it.
But I was thankful for what I wanted to do, and I got what I wanted to do, because I think if you put it out there in the universe that this is what I want to do, this is what's going to happen. Unfortunately for me, I followed my dream from day one. I didn't let anybody dictate my dream. But I am telling you, parents put their children under stress because of their expectation. You know, parents just beat their chest and be proud of their child achievement because they feel it's their achievement, you know. But if that same child commit a crime, they're ducking and they're going there.
Well, yes. Yeah.
Why?
Well, that happened.
He was a good boy.
No, him saying that.
No.
In
that
certain
happened.
societies, they him saying that. The society one time, they put you aside. But the point is, if you put your child under that amount of stress, that this is what you have to do and this is what you must do, and look at your uncle and look at mommy and daddy,
Yeah.
you are doing a disservice to that child because your child is not you.
But apart from that, if you have siblings that are successful,
Oh God, that was
and you are maybe third or fourth in the line, there's so much expected from you. You know, it
Of
is
course.
amazing.
Of course, there are a lot expected from you, and they expect that you're going to be successful and as the others are, but you may not be so inclined. Not everyone is inclined to pass mathematics and English and social studies and those things, you know. Not everyone is inclined.
But I have read stories in the past, well, when we're speaking in terms of exams, that children who didn't live up to par because of their siblings, they commit suicide.
Yes, this is it. But the stress of the parent is transferred to the child. It is, because you're putting that child under so much stress that, okay, as Sanatana Hindus, we have a tradition of doing a Saraswati Puja prior to the person going to write exam. It is not for the person to get brighter because they're doing a puja, you know. It is to calm the mind of the child. That is what the Saraswati Puja is about. A lot of people don't know that. They feel that if you take a child who is not so bright in school and put them to do a Saraswati Puja, they're going to get bright. No, that don't happen. It cannot happen. If you don't have the knowledge, you can't bring it forward. But what you're doing that puja about is to have a clear mind, so that on that day, all the knowledge that you have retained in your brain will come forward, so you could let it out.
Yes, yeah.
And if persons go to yajnas and whatnot and listen to what happens when Ravan, who was a great soul, wanted a special boon from God, Saraswati went and tied up his tongue. So instead of he saying one word, he said a different word. There was a different meaning.
Wow.
It's the very same thing. And that is what is important. You don't do no prayer and puja. I'm sure in other religion and thing, they'll go to the church and make a thanksgiving or whatever. They do that.
Yeah, they do.
It is not for the child to become bright suddenly. It is for the child to be clear, and you want to clear the path, and you want to make sure that the spirits are there, and you want to make sure that the child is guided properly. That's what you want. And you as a parent, being God to that child, because you bring that child into the world, they have passed through you, you also have to be that way. You have to give them that guidance.
But of course, yeah,
but a lot of parents don't. A lot of parents are eating away at their nails right now. I wonder if my child going to pass for this school, the first choice or second choice. Yeah. I remember one of my sisters passed for junior sec. Everybody told my parents she should go and write back, and my mother said no. That's what she passed for. That's where she going. Full stop.
Yeah, well, that's the right thing to do.
She's not going to get a blind, or I'm not going to ask somebody for a transfer. And after 3 years of junior sec, she came to Northeastern College. What's the big deal? What is the big deal?
Yeah, but
you haven't failed because your child passed for a lesser than prestige school, or what you consider to be that. No.
And even the kids who go to these prestige schools, I clearly remember a certain young lady. She came in she was the top young lady in my year group. As she went into Form 1, I don't know what happened. Maybe she was disappointed in what she expected, because these kids are under immense stress, right? And they're expecting this is the exam of their life. And she ended up becoming, promiscuous.
Yeah, because it will cause you to do some things that is not in the norm.
Exactly.
Because the brain works that way. That's why I tell you, if you limit the brain, you're limiting yourself as a human being.
Yeah, and I mean, she was 12, 13 around there. All the boys in the school used to talk about her.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a caller on the line. Hello and welcome to Sexplosion. Good evening.
Hello, how are you doing? I listened to the discussion from this morning on the third program. There are a psychologist talking about this exam and comprehension thing. My contribution was the pressure comes from society, you know.
That's where it comes from. Our society, because our society has some... Yeah?
It's not only the mother and all of them, you know, society.
But who makes up the society?
All right.
Don't you make up the society? Don't I make up the society?
Right, but there was certain among the class system, oh, you gotta be a doctor. Let me tell you something. I know people who do general labor, working for one more money and all already. And
I wouldn't doubt that.
you understand? I know men who put it on set, and they working for real money.
But I wouldn't doubt that.
So we had to look at a clear look.
When my brother was in first primer,
What really is education? Go to university and you come out a bright force. Because all you know is math, or you might know English or geology, but you really don't know education.
but you may not have common sense.
You fine with education. You understand?
Well, we don't have a definition, a proper definition of it.
A lot of people don't understand what education. That's why you don't want to educate people in jail. That's what they say. But they have academic. You understand? So you were saying something like parents need to train children in education, and then the school will do the academical part.
Correct.
That's what it is about.
Parents are there to educate their children.
School.
To go to school to learn academics, you're right.
Home is before school. I want to ask a question. What do you think about Christian education?
What I think about Christian education? What is your definition of Christian education?
Teaching children to respect God and man.
That is only in Christianity?
No. Let me not go into that big debate.
No, but you just say Christian education. So in my opinion, you're stating that only Christian believe in God and man.
No, I want to go down that road.
Well, why bring it up?
But what I'm talking about, even the Hindu faith and the Muslim faith, they're supposed to teach us to respect man and God. You understand? And have a life after this life at least. You understand? But we don't teach children to only live for here. Live for here, get rich, get money, get a big car. The American dream, bling. Get rich and diverse.
Correct.
But we don't teach them it's our life after this. And that way we make a big mistake because it's a society thing.
Well, we have to teach them about spirituality.
But if you ain't teach your children about spirituality, you ain't teach them nothing.
Well, that is the responsibility of the parent.
That way a lot of people come out and respect people. You understand?
All right, thank you.
All right.
Nadia says, hi, good night. Nadia here enjoying your program. Thank you, Nadia.
I want to continue taking our time. It's 11 minutes after 8 o'clock, and we are giving our listeners what they want and expect from a good radio program when it comes to sex education, exclusively on Power 102 FM. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back with you. Stay tuned.
Mondays on Power 102 FM, The Business Corner. 60 minutes of news, analysis, and discussion about money, entrepreneurship, and work. And for those with ideas for a startup, solid tips and advice about the way forward and building the brand. From companies to currencies, investments to the role of information technology. The Business Corner with communications and business consultant Sandrine Rattan. Mondays at 2 p.m. on Power 102, empowering you. In association with the Career Business Hatchery and TSTT B-Mobile. Life is on.
Think Twice is hitting the streets, and we're talking road safety at taxi stands and commuter centers across Trinidad and Tobago. Look out for us this Monday in San Fernando, Wednesday in Chaguanas, and on Friday in San Juan. Yours truly, Gaylan, will be your guide. So let's talk road safety and giving you tips on driving safely on the nation's road. Plus, I'm asking road safety questions. And if you answer correctly, you win. Think twice.
Think twice.
On the road on Power 102.1 FM. Think twice.
Brought to you by the Vehicle Management Corporation of Trinidad and Tobago Limited. VEMCOT, Power 102 FM, in association with Arrival Live and the TTPS. The Gillette Group of Companies, Neil and Massey North Credit Union, Kendall Motor Oil, and Computers and Controls.
Think twice.
Think twice.
Safety for you and your family at a safer Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, I can tell you it's a beautiful blend of sex education right here on Power 102.1 FM, your number one all-round station when it comes to talk and music with Sexologist Dr. Raj. Folks, don't forget our lines are open. If you would love to interact with him via telephone, feel free at 222-8255, also at 612-8255. For those of you sending in your text messages or your WhatsApp messages, you can also do that on his private mobile 740-1961. You can also send in your messages on the website at Power 102 FM. This program may contain material that is not suitable for children. Parental guidance are therefore advised. Yeah.
So my concern is
Before going
what
forward,
happens to the parents and the adults.
We have another call on the line.
Go ahead.
Hello and welcome to Sexplosion. Good evening. Okay, they left.
Yeah, my concern is what happens to the parents, the adults in our society when stress affects them, when they think that their sexual health is not an important thing, when they think that if you're taking care of your sexual health it's because you're promiscuous, because you want to be a old hoe, or because you want to be a stud, or because you want to run down and set a woman. That is not reality. That is where misinformation comes along. People feel that the minute you mention the word sex, oh God, is something nasty and something dirty and something bad. What's so wrong with the word? Sex is what have you here.
Yes, but
that's what I was telling people. They don't understand the creative aspect of the world.
Yes, but if you could recall, in our times growing up, and we cut from the same bolt of cloth when, as far as we had time growing up. When you use the word sex, the older generation used to look at it at a negative.
Yes, because we are programmed to think that anything that has the word sex in it is bad.
Yeah.
Blasphemy. That's what it is.
Yeah.
We are programmed to think that way. We think that everything has to be pure. This whole world is pure and nice and neat and white. It's pure as the driven snow. But it's not. Everything is not white and clear and beautiful. It's not.
Because if you could recall, you couldn't have sex with someone long ago until you got married.
You're lucky.
And when you have gotten that opportunity, so much can and hard thing you have to get through before getting,
Junior always have it for that, because Junior had a bad experience with that,
No.
Removing a can.
No.
You went through some hoops, Junior, did you?
No. We go back to the lines. Hello and welcome to Sexplosion. Good evening.
Yeah. Nice discussion.
Yeah, go ahead.
For a long time, sex was a taboo subject.
Yes, that's what we know saying.
Because a lot of religious leaders, I'll just say, look at sex as a nasty thing. But I want to show you people that God made sex. You know that?
Well, who else go make it?
God put that in people. That's part of your nature. But the problem is, we distort it. Now, people like rather than coming to educate people, they see where the education coming again?
Well, right. That is correct, because you have to give people the information and they have to take that information and apply it to their lives and make things better for themselves.
Something that God created for the human race, people distort the thing, people corrupt the thing. You understand? So right now, we have a lot of promiscuity out there and a lot of kind of madness when it comes to sex. But sex, within a certain confine. Alright, man.
Well, I'll debate you on that one. I'll debate you.
I was open to debate, brother.
No, I'll debate you on that one, because I'll tell you something. God didn't make sex pure and confined, He made sex. S-E-X. Nowhere is it written that sex is supposed to be done in a particular way. Nowhere. No book have that.
No. I ain't talking about the possession of sex,
Yeah, but wait. No. Wait. Well, that is what I'm telling you. Nowhere in no book tell you sex is supposed to be done in a particular way.
Sex is supposed to be done in the confine of a marriage relationship.
No. Marriage came after sex. So don't come with that. Don't come with that. Marriage came long after sex. Long after sex. So you're wrong.
We reading two different books, yeah, brother?
You're wrong. Marriage came long after sex. Marriage is something that came after sex, not before sex.
Who create man?
Right? God created man and God created sex. You just made that point. But the point is that sex came before marriage. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? So don't tell me marriage come before sex, because you're wrong.
When God make man and woman in the Garden of Eden,
No. Stop right there. I don't believe in that. Stop there. Mash bricks. Mash bricks. Garden of Eden doesn't exist in my religion and teaching.
Let's see, one of our Facebook listeners want to say, do you think that sex came before marriage, or did marriage come before sex? Make sure to comment now. Let me see what really going on here. Put up a poll on
They
this.
just proved that one of the writings in the
I've seen a whole bunch of likes coming out there, yeah.
In one of our books, which is the Ramayana, is thousands of years ago. They're going back and they're defining the people, the DNA of those people, thousands and thousands and thousands of years back. And as a matter of fact, we could tell you it's 1,800,000 years ago. We could tell you the date. But Garden of Eden is only about 5,000 years ago. No, don't come with that. Sex, marriage was not made before sex. And I want people to understand that. It was not made before sex.
I want to tell you that you are making radio an experience by itself when you're listening to Sexplosion on Power 102 FM. This is what it's all about, taking it to a whole new level. Don't forget, folks, our lines are open. If you would like to interact with Dr. Raj, please feel free. 222-8255, also at 612-8255. Yeah.
See, that's what I tell you. If you try to limit your brain into thinking that this is what it's supposed to be, you're putting yourself in a box. If you think that you should only have sex in the bedroom, and you should only do it after 8:30 in the night, and you should only do it in a particular position, you are limiting yourself as a human being, because human beings are not confined to those things. The only time even if you're confined to a jail cell, in solitary confinement, man has come out of solitary confinement and still go and do what is natural. Didn't Nelson Mandela do that?
Right.
How long he was in confinement? Did that change him? It didn't change him. He still wanted a revolution in South Africa. It was just a peaceful revolution. That's all he did. He renounced violence and went to peace. But it was the same revolution. Whether you achieve it by the gun or you achieve it by standing up and talking peace, it doesn't matter.
No, it
you
doesn't
achieve
matter.
what you want to achieve.
Exactly, you can't confine creation.
Well, if you confine creation, that is what you're going to do. People confine creation because they have this idea that sex have to be pure and holy. Well, I could go down a different road, and a lot of people be upset.
And I know that.
But I want to do that.
I know that.
A lot of views.
No.
So let me. A lot of you.
No, I know. No, because a couple of nights we had that experience.
Yeah, I could go down a different road and explain certain things that will. I mean, some people will be very upset.
By the way, shout out to all our Facebook viewers as well.
And hit the like button and hit the whatever you have to hit.
Fantastic.
Prashant will tell you what to hit.
I'm sure you'll love the conversation going on.
Prashant will tell you what to hit.
All the wows. Give me the wows.
Yeah, Prashant will tell you what it. But again, you cannot confine the human mind to that. When we come back from the break, we'll go into a little more explanation on that.
Anyway, folks, taking return 21 minutes after 8 o'clock. Sexplosion, right here on Power 102 FM. Your number one all-around station for talk and music.
Easter Sunday, April 21st.
You going to the jazz thing?
Huh?
You going to the jazz concert?
Queens Park, Savannah,
No.
Port of Spain.
Not going to be good, I know. Not sure going to be good.
Well, I'll ask if you're going.
Pyro Gyro, boy. Pyro Gyro, you're talking about They wasn't need to
3
perform,
p.m.
but
Showtime, 6 p.m. Along with childhood friend Wayne Wonder.
I said no, man. I had to come down.
Well, the place would have sell out the first time they announced that.
But this is why I didn't want them to sell out soon.
You didn't want them to sell out?
No, when I say so, I didn't want to go down there, you know. Before then come and do a radio program. It would have been difficult.
Oh, when you see that set of thumbs up coming, where the wows and the you need the wows and the hearts and whatever else.
Sales Car Rental, the OCM Group of Companies, Camco Innovations and Print TT. I Am Legend, free at last.
I'm gonna ask them to share it too, but I'm message it to someone. It would make sense to
Power
me.
102 FM,
They could actually
Champions
message it
94,
privately.
and Vemcott
Present Think Twice.
Think Twice.
I think we should share this with
We
all
celebrate
parents.
life and promote safety on the nation's roads.
Think twice on the roads, in your cars, for our pedestrians and cyclists.
Think twice before you drive, act, and go about your daily lives.
Every life is precious, and we must each do our part to preserve lives on the roads of Trinidad and Tobago.
Think twice.
Every day, we give you life-saving tips and advice on how you can safely use our roads and highways in Trinidad and Tobago. We also invite you to download this safety app, which you can use to share messages and information in your very own private networks between family and friends and co-workers, all to keep each other safer.
Think twice.
Brought to you by the Vehicle Management Corporation of Trinidad and Tobago Limited, Vemcott, in association with Arrival Live and the TTPS, Neil and Massey North Credit Union, the Galette Group of Companies, Agricola Credit Union, and Computers and Controls.
Think twice.
Think twice.
Safety for you and your family.
Think twice.
At a safer Trinidad and Tobago.
Easter Sunday, April 21st. I Am Legend, the Queen's Park Savannah, Port of Spain. Buju. The most anticipated concert in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. The legend, Mark Anthony Myrie. Gates open at 3 p.m. Showtime 6 p.m. Along with childhood friend Wayne One. Also featuring Luciano, the Messenger, singing melody, Tony Curtis and the group Lust. Buju.
Did I hear Tony Curtis?
Did I hear that? I was like, the Tony Curtis?
Icebox Liquor Depot Cura, the box office Queens Park Savannah, Larry Shaguana, and Cache Tobago. For more info, call 610-BUJ and 484-BUJ. Sponsored by Ritter M Sound Company, SM Jalil and Company Limited, Southern Sales Car Rental, the OCM Group of Companies, Camco Innovations and Print TT. I Am Legend, free at last.
I want to tell you that when it comes to sex education, we are always one step ahead with a beautiful blend, taking it to a whole new level. You're listening to a program that deals with sex, love, and relationship exclusively on Power 102.1 FM with sexologist Dr. Raj. Folks, don't forget our lines are open. If you would love to interact with him via the telephone, feel free at 222-8255. Also at 612-8255. Now, for those of you who would love to send him a WhatsApp or a text message, you can also do that on his private mobile, 740-1961. You can also send in your messages on our website at Power 102 FM. Yeah.
If I remember correctly from the little Bible studies that I did, I want to make this point so the gentleman will hear this.
Yeah.
When God made people, he didn't say go forth and get married, you know. He said go forth and multiply. I think the multiply was to have sex.
Right, yes, yeah.
So I think he just failed.
Mm-hmm.
He never said go forth, get married, and then multiply. Go forth and multiply.
Go forth and multiply, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that it's a go forth and bull.
Yeah. Some of us really
You could put it that way, go forth and bull.
They didn't even have fans, so they did it in one shot.
So, anyway, I want to say a special good night. I am watching you live right now. Ask a person who is this. They say I'm watching you live right now. You know that person?
I heard it.
Yeah.
It sounds familiar.
I can't understand how people can be so ridiculous. You ask a question, you ask them who it is, and they tell you that something like that. Ooh.
Well, at least one thing, you look on the positive side, the person is alive.
Yeah, they could text.
It could have been worse. You could have hurt somebody, you know.
And to our Facebook listeners, what I would like you to do is to share this stream in a private message to a parent who you think may have probably had some issues with, their child with respect to academics and whatnot. Let's get the conversation going, because that same young lady who scored the highest in my year group, yes, she became promiscuous afterwards, but the later effects was that she actually tried to commit suicide, not once, but twice as well.
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't aware that the pressure these students are under. I actually lost one of my personal friends about 2.5 years ago as well. Really good friend of mine. And he was so brilliant that when he finished his degree, they accepted him into a PhD program. neuroscience. Fantastic young man, excelled in everything that he did. And now...
But just hold that point a minute. I don't want this person to leave out.
Sure, yeah.
Thank you for holding, and welcome to Sexplosion.
Yes, good night, guys. Good night.
Good evening.
I want to ask the doctor there, what is the reduction of a woman's libido when she enters marriage after a period of time or into any kind of long-term relationship? It seems to be a consistent thing that a woman's libido reduces. So her desire for sex is no longer as it used to be, and demands, desire for sex always remains high, and you always have that general situation. To me, is what leaves a lot of problems in relationship.
Okay, can I just stay on the line? The first thing is that women use sex and sexuality and projection of sex or the possibility of sex as a means of a bait for men.
Right.
So when they get you to put the ring on the finger, the libido drops because it was always there. It doesn't drop. The majority of them, they use that as just a means to get what they want. So that is one aspect. Secondly, some women are so comfortable in the fact that this is my man, I don't need to do the things I used to do before to keep him. So it's a psychological thing. Thirdly, it is a physical thing, where there are physical changes in the woman with aging, with being comfortable in the relationship, and her mindset now is not on the sex to keep the man, but sex for procreation and simply to build a better life. Does that answer the question?
Yes. But you see, we're right. I understand the question. I understand the answer perfectly. But you see, there's a problem, Doctor, because, would you not agree that dynamic there is what causes the majority of breakups in relationships?
But I didn't say it was right,
Outside of the relationship?
But please don't think I say it was right. It is a wrong concept and it's a wrong action. Women will, for example, a woman will perform oral sex on you when you're courting. Right? You're going on in a car, you ask she to do it, you ask she to do it in the car, she go do it in the car while you're driving. When you're married to her, she wouldn't do it. Why? Because she thinks she no longer needs to do that to have you.
Yes, you're right.
Right? But it's not right. Because she make you get accustomed to liking something and take it away from you. It's like giving you a gift and taking it away from you.
Exactly.
And you don't want to go and have sex with somebody else. This is the woman you love. This is the woman who turns you on. You want to be able to do those things with her. You want to continue doing those things with her despite the fact that you're married. But you'll say, well, have some respect to the marriage now. What the hell that have to do with having respect for the marriage? You have made me into a person that is sexual with you and you want me to look for it somewhere else? And that is what happens. So it's not a right thing. And you're right to bring it up, and I'm glad you brought it up.
And another point that I want to raise too is that this situation is a real disadvantage for men. Because men generally don't talk about this thing, and women always have all that to say about the bad parts about men. In other words,
correct.
Generally, the bad aspects of men is that they may go outside the relationship, they may be violent in the home, etc., right? Nothing wrong with that. Those things do happen.
Yeah.
What I'm saying
No, but there's a lot wrong with that. And we shouldn't condone that.
Don't talk about the bad things that happen with women.
Correct.
To me, one of the main things in terms of what women perpetrate on men is this whole issue of withholding sex and using sex as a weapon in the home.
Well, sex is a means of rewarding. But sex is a means of rewarding you because your birthday coming up, I'll give you good sex.
Yeah.
You get promotion in job, I'll give you good sex. You're getting more pay, I'll give you good sex. That is total nonsense. You're right. Total nonsense. It should never be like that. They use it as a means of reward and a means of punishment. I vex with you, or you do something wrong, no sex. I'm holding back the sex. I'm going to sleep with the children in the children's room. Or you better leave and go sleep somewhere else. That is dotishness. It should never be like that.
Man use his resources or his money or his salary in the same way. Everybody vex with the man now.
Correct.
The man, you want to that they fix the man. And he decides, I paying the rent this month, or I doing this, or I buying this, or you understand? Everybody will be vex with the man if you do that.
Well, look, I want to bring this to your attention. Alicia says, but men does do that too. You know a man who does want to have sex and refuse? Men don't do that.
Exactly.
Women just want to have sex, but because they're punishing you, no sex for you. Because that means a punishment. No, men don't do that. You want sex, you get sex, you take it.
One time.
Full time. So, no, Alicia, you're wrong.
And the other part about this thing too is that older more experienced women, don't talk to the younger women about the nonsense. Nobody just correct anything.
They perpetuate it, they leave it for it to grow.
So it's happening, not talking to the younger women about doing this nonsense. So in other words, the mothers, the mothers-in-laws, the mothers who have daughters, who have husbands, they're not teaching the daughters not to be doing this kind of thing. It's a cool scene then.
It's a cool scene because it's acceptable. It is acceptable by women to behave like that. No, that point you bring up there, I want to bring another point. Women that call men dogs and liars. But half the time the woman you see dress up going on the road is not the same woman in the bedroom, you know. Because when she take out all the things that she had to take out and wash her face is a different woman you see, you know. So who is the liar? I always ask that question, who is the liar? Because you are presenting yourself in a way that you're not that way when you go to bed with me. So who is the liar? So thanks for sharing that with us. But I want to bring up the point about this thing with stress. You see, men are less emotive than women. Women deal with emotion. So around this time of stress where the children are going to write exam, oh good, I mean that easy. They're moving around like a cat on a hot tin roof. They can't settle down. The man is like, give us some sex, sir. Like only thing to relieve my stress. And he can't get the sex because she not in the mood.
As a matter of fact, the man saying, this is my dull period.
Yeah, if I get a little bit of sex, I could deal with the stress, but you're not giving me the sex.
Anyway, we have another caller on the line. Hello and welcome to Sexplosion. Good evening.
Good night, family. Good night, Dr. Raj.
Good evening.
Dr. Raj, I like what you said just now, because you talk about it. And I remember I called already and I said that, right? When you now meet a woman in a court and she and things, oh Lord, you know, he's the most loving thing, he's the most loving, you know.
Yeah.
And as the relationship starts, especially when they start living together, all of us...
That change.
She don't have time for you, she don't have time for you. You understand? She don't have time with the boy. You have to take her home. Sometimes she gets too lonely, she call her friend. You understand? Because I know how they start. I was in a relationship some years ago. Well, actually my third madam that I was with.
Third?
And I got to tell you something, and this is what I'm telling you, I'm very serious. We used to have sex anyway. I talk about in cinema, hospital, in the car, pack up in truck in the car, pack up on the side of the road in a lonely road. But them they didn't have time and things, they cannot do that.
Oh yeah, I know it is. You don't know that well too.
And the thing about them, and that's why that relationship had lasted so long, because I just but I just found that time he was cooking. I was like with him and I meet her cooking and things. When I take a shower, and she was almost naked. And right at the stove with the food cooking, this is no joke. Right at the stove with the food cooking, we had sex. We used to be at dentures, and I'm gonna tell you.
That was hot sex, but...
If you want a relationship to last, and if you want to have a good relationship, start paying more attention to your madam. And women, start paying attention to your man.
Correct.
If you know you had to, if you know, like a man, if you know you had to go on like the boys, tell your boys that you're going on. You see Friday night, you can lie him until the next day. When you see Saturday and Sunday, it's your family. Saturday night, you and the madam dress up nice, all the go out, have a little fun, come back, have all the sex. The following day, you pick up the children underneath your kid, all they go on the beach, all they go on the line.
Family time.
So how long the relationship would last? Because she will only have advice for you because you're making her feel good, you're making her feel loved, and you're making her feel comfortable. So I hope them fellas take my advice.
Yes, man.
You preach, your family, you preach.
Renuka says, I feel I'm a sex addict. Is that a real addiction? Yes, it is. Sex addiction is a very real thing, and there are ways to control it. There are ways to deal with it. Like any addiction.
Yeah.
The only thing with sex addiction, it's a compulsive thing that it's, when it gets into you, Mr. Man.
You can't jump out of it.
No, the things that you just have to do to feed that addiction. Is what?
It's a whole lot of
Sex addiction, you're going down a different road, brother. That part of your brain that grows for sex addiction, it takes over everything.
Oh.
You see sex in everything. In every situation.
That need for that dopamine release. Good.
What?
Oh. Anyway, folks, taking our time, 20 minutes before 9 o'clock, Sexplosion on Power 2.1 FM. Sexologist, Dr. Raj, and we're going to take a break and we'll be right back.
Before
with
that,
you.
if you like your addiction, there's nothing wrong with it. If your addiction is affecting you in your work, your behavior, and the things that you're doing, then it is a problem. Other than that, manage your addiction.
Yeah. If it's
And you could have worse addiction than sex addiction.
especially if it's in your workplace, because you have to take a break to get a break, right?
God, all right, let's take this break.
Definitely.
Easter Sunday, April 21st.
Why?
So she's coming.
I Am Legend in the Queen's Park Savannah, Port of Spain.
This is good.
The most anticipated concert in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. The legend, Mark Anthony Miley. Gates open at 3
I could see it on there. I could see it there, man. 21st.
You could.
On the 21st. A person pick you up there.
Buju Banza?
Yeah.
Buju boy, you can't miss Buju.
Get your tickets at IamLegendConcert.com. Cachet nationwide. On Center Excellent Mall and opposite Citygate.
But I'm afraid to carry them because I say reasonable bullshit.
Queen's Park
Did they
Savannah.
say so in true? No, they say look like Bob Marley. They say all you want to have to do is pour out the hat with the Rasta.
What part of you look like Bob Ali?
I don't know, that's what they say.
I Am Legend. Free.
Whoever tell you that, they are wrong. Who's they?
Vancut offers professional turnkey vehicle management and maintenance solutions at their 3 facilities:
I think
Beacon,
Gamble
Port of
Boutique.
Spain, Union Hall, San Fernando, and Lower
You have to get a spliff in your hand.
Vancut is
A
your
big fat
convenient
one.
one-stop shop
Smoke in the
that offers
place.
vehicle maintenance service that
That's
meets demands of high
it's
quality
only
standards at
recently
competitive
I
prices.
found out
Their turnkey
that his
solutions
cancer in
include
his toes
3D
that he
wheel
had.
alignment,
Huh?
service and
Yeah?
repair,
So you know that?
body
I didn't really
From a
put
football
that.
game, kicking a ball back,
I didn't put that
and broke his toe.
I didn't put that together.
They were supposed to cut off his leg and he refused.
Yes, I heard, yeah.
Fuel injection services, steering and
That it went straight up
suspension
from the
repairs,
toe, it goes straight
diagnostic
up there.
scan, air conditioning
Wow.
services, and much more.
That's
Trust
it.
your vehicle to us with a service that saves you. Vancut.
What I can tell you more now than ever, we are putting the fun back into sex education on Power 102 FM, accurate, reliable, and powerful, with the only sexologist in the Caribbean, Dr. Raj Ramnanan. Yo.
Yuge says sex should be spontaneous, and I agree with that. There are times that you can plan your sexual encounter, especially if it is with someone that you enjoy having sex with. It must not always be spontaneous, but it could be that, okay, we will have a session, we'll do certain things, whatever it may be, bondage, it may be discipline, it may be role playing, it could be anything, or we could be, we date and we go out and when we come back, we're going to have sex. But it should also be spontaneous. And then Ravindra says, sex is a spiritual experience. Well, sex is physical first before spiritual. You know?
Physical.
This is where people get tired. Sex, any two idiots could have sex. And I mean that in the most sincerest of way, without it being disparaging to anyone. Any two fools could have sex. It is purely a physical thing. Once you have an erect penis and you have available vagina, you could have sex. So, it don't have to be spiritual.
It don't have to be spiritual.
No. It could be made into something spiritual. It could be a deep connection between you and your partner. That's why, again, that's why a person could go and pay for sex and have sex. A person could be in a relationship and have sex. A person could go and find a lover and have sex. A person could not like a person and they get an available vagina or available penis and have sex. So it does not have to be spiritual. When people put these taglines to sex, what they're doing is they're limiting sex. They're limiting sex to suit themselves. Because somebody in the religious sphere will tell you sex have to be spiritual. Bull crap. Somebody who promises sex should be spontaneous anytime. Bull crap. You could have sex anyhow you choose to have it because you have the ability, the intelligence, you have the wherewithal to do it. And you should do it with who you want to do it with in the best possible way.
Yeah.
Anytime you limit yourself to that, no, there are some individuals who limit themselves to having sex with one partner in a particular way, a particular time. That's all. If that works for you, fine, you know. If that works for you, fine. But I want to ask you, Gesh or Ravindra, how many times you have had sex and it was a spiritual awakening for you or a spiritual experience?
That's a good question. Yeah.
Answer that question. How many times you have had sex and it was a spiritual awakening or a spiritual experience to you? And if you could answer that, then your question, your response makes sense. Because sometimes it is just a physical act. It is just an act to relieve yourself.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Just to
It is, you're horny and you want to get it over with. What is spiritual about that?
Just a knockout one. That's what it is.
Yeah, you just want
Tell
to
me what is
get back into
spiritual about
rhythm.
that. I like you, you like me, you have a vagina, I have a penis, let's get together and be happy.
Yes, to get the stress out.
Yep. And we have Alicia here saying that she also feels the same way with her with the sexual addiction.
Well, you could live with a sexual addiction and manage it, you know. If you try to change from a sexual addiction, sometimes it's dangerous to the psyche of the individual. That's what we do at the Adult Therapy Center. We help individuals to live with their sexual addiction and to deal with it in a manner that it enriches them. Take that
We have
call.
a caller on the line. Hello and welcome to Sexplosion. Good evening.
Yeah, gentlemen, I call back again. I also want to tell the men especially that listening, that every time your partner comes close to you, you have to have sex. You must be able to have a conversation. You must be able to have a conversation with the person that you're with, the person your wife, your husband.
Well, we have said that many times on this program. We have said that there are times for cuddling, there are times for hugging up, there are times for kissing, there are times for just being close to one another, there are times for pinching your wife on the bottom, there are times for just hugging. A woman deserves a nice hug.
You must be able to lie down, even though they're naked, you must be able to lie down, watch TV, talk, laugh.
You just lie down with clothes? I don't lie down with clothes. I don't believe in lying down with clothes.
But if I lie down next to my partner without
I always without clothes.
I don't lie down with clothes, but what I'm saying,
I like to hug up. The warmth of your body I must feel it.
right, and you must be able to lie down and talk with the person, watch on the TV.
Of course, that smell of the
naked on
love.
their hand sex.
No, well, you don't, everything doesn't lead to sex. That is why I'm saying that sometimes it's spontaneous, sometimes it's planned, sometimes it could happen, but not every time you have sex, it's a spiritual experience. Sex is something that's supposed to be okay with your partner, okay with the one that you want to have sex with, anytime, any place, anyhow, as long as both of you want to do it. It shouldn't be forced upon a person.
No, it shouldn't.
And one of the biggest problems we have in this country right now, and is mainly, we have a problem mainly with the women, right? As a woman become a Christian, all of a sudden now she can, if she husband can't touch she.
Well, I realize that's a serious problem.
That don't work.
I realize that's a serious problem because a lot of men just be complaining about that to me.
And I don't know why that has happened.
Because again, let me tell you something. If I wasn't doing this and I wanted to be a crook, I would have been a pastor. Because I would have controlled all them women out there. And if I could make you change your religion, I could make you take out your clothes. Who vexed laws?
That is all.
Who vexed laws? I don't care. It is a fact. Because the power they have up there. I tell you, I treated someone in a religious sphere with sexual problems. And when I asked him to speak to his congregation, he tell me, no, I just control that. He tell me no.
Yeah.
He said, I just control them. You can't come there and talk. Is that some of them just ban people from listening to this program?
And for what?
I met a guy and he said, they don't allow me to listen to this program. We can't go and talk about your program.
There's a lot of scriptures in the Bible talk about sex, especially as a husband and wife. You want You want to turn your wife upside down? That is focusing on what is your wife. Once you and the person is married and is your wife, you are allowed to do anything. And because of that now, that there's women doing this thing now, a lot of pastors and bishops and things turn into the controversial.
I tell you.
And they're controlling.
Yes, they are. Yeah, they are controlling.
The controlling nature of it, telling people what they should and should not do in their bedroom. And a lot of women are wrapped up in that. They're wrapped up in the fact that they think that if I do something with my husband now that I used to do before, I'm wrong, I'm committing a sin. What sin you're committing? Why are you so brainwashed into thinking that the natural ability that your body have, the natural feelings that your body have, is wrong and is bad? You're not taking a spiritual part. Very few women in this country are taking a spiritual part to liberation, you know. Very few, you know. They're there for comfort. They're there for many different reasons. Because of violence in their relationship or other things. But it's not because of spiritual liberation. So they're punishing themselves and they're punishing others based on what somebody tells them to do. And it happens all across the board. And it's wrong.
It is. It is wrong.
Because when you try to control a person's natural instinct and natural behavior, that person becomes a non-entity. They don't function properly. Their brain can't function. If you don't release your hormones, estrogen and testosterone through sex, you know what you're doing to your body? You have any idea what you're doing to yourself? Watch persons who are not engaging, and that is those who are not in a spiritual realm. Because if you're in a spiritual realm, you don't need that. If you're in a spiritual realm, you don't need sex. Because there are things in spirituality that equates to sex. But watch persons who are not in a spiritual realm, denying themselves sex, and watch how they look. They look old before their time. They look old before their time.
Exactly. So the body is rebelling against itself.
Correct.
Yeah.
So you have a serious problem.
Anyway, folks, taking our time, it's now 10 minutes before 9 o'clock. You're listening to Sexplosion on Power 102.1 FM. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back with you. Stay tuned.
I have to give you a joke after the program. I said I have to give you a joke after the program.
Something about video jokes.
No, it's... Why are you afraid my joke for, boy?
Is that on me?
No. The joke on me.
On you? Okay.
Well, the best jokes are about yourself.
Yeah.
You will laugh at me when I tell you you're going to say, boy, Raj, you're really tough.
KFC on the work program.
That's very good.
Yeah. Big deal too.
What a big deal.
What a big day.
As our nearest geographical neighbor,
Or should we say no big deal?
And no boy is going to lose that.
No, that. I mean, it's all. Is there no big deal, man?
But family, I know how you tell this story.
Conditions and alleged political persecution and have risked their lives to come to Trinidad.
I tell you, I was in Miami last year sometime. My wife and my daughter and myself. That was October. And for the time the immigration officer heard me from Trinidad. You know the first thing he asked me? Will you bring any KFC? Seriously? So I was like, what?
No.
He said, boy, for the time I land in Trinidad, I just rushed to buy KFC. He said, that's the best tasting KFC anywhere in the world.
People who came for Carnival.
But that's true.
They want Trinidad KFC.
KFC.
Yeah.
But the man telling me this, I say, you serious?
Yes.
He said, yes, I can tell you that.
That I could tell. That.
And this is an immigration and CBP officer.
What they were saying is that the KFC in Trinidad
is a different taste.
Is a different taste, yeah. And I'm better than they say, when you're thinking dollar for dollar, Independence Square is making the most money in the world.
Yeah, no, that's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
True. Dollar for dollar.
The busiest KFC in the world.
Yeah. Brothers and them eating thing.
But we're glad to have them on board.
Oh, yeah. What I could tell you, this is what it's all about when you're listening to Sexplosion on Power 102.1 FM. Accurate, reliable, and powerful. The only sexologist in the Caribbean, Dr. Raj of Total Limit and the Adult Therapy Center, which is located in St. Augustine, where he treats all sexual dysfunctions, I tell you, in both male and female. Still got a couple of minutes in which you can interact with him via the telephone 222-8255, also at 612-8255. Yeah.
Maybe that's why I look younger than my age. Sex.
Somebody tell you look younger than your age?
No. When somebody tell me I look younger than my age, I tell them plain as sex. And that's a fact.
Yeah.
No, it is a fact.
The people tell me the same thing.
Yeah, well, of course. No, but you do look younger than your age, you know, Junior.
Are we from old school, eh?
Yeah, you look much younger than your age.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell people your age is doubt me, I say, well, I never see his birth paper, but that's what he tell me. And I have no reason to doubt him.
But I always love doing a program like this, you know.
Well, even doing a program like this, it relieves the stress.
Yes, it does. It really does.
So I don't see why we use sex as a means of reward and punishment, and it is such a...
It's a sad situation.
It's a very sad situation. There's so many people out there suffering for that.
Yeah, a lot.
Suffering because of that.
And then conflict comes in as well too.
Well, of course, conflict will come in. But I want to tell the listeners out there that the Adult Therapy Center is not only in St. Augustine, but we're also in Debe. On a Tuesday, I'm there. I have lots of patients coming there, and Dr. Maharaj and Prashant is there on, what days? Saturdays?
Saturdays.
They're there on Saturdays. So for those of you who want to make your appointment to come out there to take care of your sexual health, diabetes, hypertension, anything to do with the nervous system, they are dealing with that. They are dealing with that. I deal with the sexual part of it. Again, I am not a medical doctor. I don't step into the realm of medicine. I step into the realm of sexual science, because it is a science. Sex is a science. It's a serious science. That's why I'm a sexologist. I am not a medical doctor, and I want people to understand that and remember that. I deal with sexual dysfunction. So if I know when you're seeing certain signs and certain things are affecting you sexually, I know what they're indicators of. So I will tell you, I will refer you to one of the many doctors I work with. I could refer you to Dr. Maharaj if it's related to the things that he's doing presently at the clinic. I could also put you on to Prashant, because he deals with that part of it also. And you could come back to me to deal with the other part. Same thing with sexual addiction. I've had persons come to me with sexual addiction, and I teach them to manage it. Because it is something you don't want somebody to totally destroy, because if you lock it away, what you're going to do, lock off the person's sexuality and behavior? That is what you have. It's not like an alcohol addiction. You know. Alcohol addiction, your body don't need alcohol, you know, but it needs sex. So you have to know to manage the sexual addiction.
Yeah, there's two different things. Yeah, two different
Chemical addiction and sexual addiction is two different things. And anybody who tell you you should get rid of your addiction when it comes to sex, they don't know what they're talking about. You don't get rid of that.
They don't understand it fully at all.
Yes, you have to manage it. You have to manage it and be able to manipulate it in such a way that it becomes useful to you, and it doesn't occupy the majority of your life and take you away from doing the things that you want to do. So when persons have premature ejaculation and they break in fast and they come to the Adult Therapy Center. I know persons just call me, tell me a tablet I could use to not break fast. There's no tablet to use to not break fast. There are programs that you could go on that will help you to control your PC muscle, together with supplementation that will prevent you from ejaculating quickly. But if you think there's a magic pill out there that you take and you stop yourself from ejaculating, no. It is controlled by the brain. The brain is what controls your premature ejaculation. So to answer I am watching you live right now, I come quickly whenever I have sex. What can I do to last longer? Come to the Adult Therapy Center for treatment.
Yes, and you can get that solved anyhow.
Well, he did send his name afterwards, Ganesh.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And we actually have someone waiting right now, 645-4543.
Oh yeah, they're there now. You can call now, 645-4543. For those who want to call, give me the number. David. You have to pull it up as well. You see what I mean?
No one is.
You have it here, man. Give it to them.
No one, it shouldn't be. No, your family.
And they could call right now because I know she has the phone.
Yes, as a matter of fact,
it's
what 366-5843.
366-5843 for the Debe outlet, or 645-4543, which is the main outlet. There's someone there right now. You can call them and they will handle
As I say,
your...
I called Total Image earlier on this week. A nice, sexy one, nice, sexy lady answered the phone, boy.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
I nearly come through the phone.
I know who you're talking about. I know who you're talking
know?
about. Yes, when you call her?
The day before yesterday.
Yes,
The day
she was
before
there.
yesterday.
If you had said yesterday, I'd say it's not her.
Yeah.
But yes, I know who it is.
Nice, here now, man. I almost jump in my vehicle and come up Total Image, you know.
Nah, you have a band there. We have a big sign up in front. Don't allow Junior to come inside. Because we invite you to so many things and you don't come. We decide to put up a band. We decide to put up a band.
No, after hearing that beautiful voice.
Sexy voice, eh?
Yes, man. Yes.
I agree. I just call you office just to hear her voice too.
Yeah.
I agree, yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, ladies, if you want to call and hear my voice, that's not a problem at all, too.
You
could definitely do so.
No, you could hear family.
Thanks,
voice.
doctor. I'm learning something. I just called my name, Michael. I suffer with premature ejaculation, so I will come to see you soon. Thank you very much. I want to do it with you. Do what?
Yes.
They want to do it with
Please
you.
be specific.
I wonder what they want to do with you. I wonder if it's behind door number 1, door number 2, door number 3.
I take in all 3 doors.
Yeah.
I want a variety.
You want a variety?
I want a variety. I don't want one thing.
No.
I'm in that mood where I need a multitude of things happening at the same time.
And my grandmother used to say, you cannot walk on 1 foot. So at least I'll have 2.
I was going to say you had 3.
3
feet.
Kickstand.
You like that one, huh?
Yeah. Great. I'll write that one down. Yeah.
So, folks, we have almost reached the end of our program. For those of you who want to get in touch with me, my number is 740-1961. That number again, 740-1961. And yes, it is my personal cell number.
Yeah.
For those of you who want to call the Adult Therapy Center, it's 645-4543. Those of you who are listening to us or watching us on Facebook, those of you watching us on Instagram, you can share it, you can tell your friends about it, you can hit the like button, you could hit the, what the other one?
There's the love button too.
The love button,
The
the
wow
the
button.
thumbs up, the wow button. Prashant is the man in charge of those things, so I don't know. I really don't know what it means. All I know is I'm here to give you that information and to see you tomorrow and hear you tomorrow. Remember, folks, Sexplosion is on Fridays from 9 till 11 and on Thursdays from 7 to 9. Good night.
Mm-hmm.